Less than 48 hours to go until CNN hosts a second Republican debate, and the anticipation is growing. Joining me now is Sean Spicer, Communications Director of the Republican National Committee. Sean, I'm going to say this. I don't know if you're like it. Are you fired up, ready to go?
I'm fired up, ready to go.
That was an Obama thing back in the day.
Hey, you know what? And it worked. So if that's what it takes, I'm on board. I'm excited. I hope we get a huge number tomorrow night, or Wednesday night, rather. I think this is going to be a phenomenal debate. The that I see of the Reagan Library look unbelievable. I think the excitement and enthusiasm around the country is going to be great.
But, you know, the tone, quite honestly, Sean, of this race has been pretty intense since Labor Day. Candidates ramping up their attacks on each other. Do you expect to see that come across on the stage on Wednesday?
Well, I really hope that in the shadow of Air Force One and in the Reagan Library, that people choose to invoke Reagan's 11th commandment, that they talk about what they want to do and where they want to go, or hopefully focus their jobs at Hillary Clinton and not at each other. I get that primaries are tough. That's where you distinguish yourself from one another. That's part of the process. But the more that we can stay focused on the Democrats, the more that we can focus on the candidates telling their story and their vision, I think that's much better for the party.
Okay, and there are going to be a lot of people up on that stage. It's a really crowded field. 11 candidates. Do you think that there are too many candidates?
Oh, God, no. Absolutely not. I mean, I think that when you look at these people, right, and you talk about the level of qualifications and accomplishment that each one of them brings in a unique way, those who've been in Washington, those who've been outside of Washington, those who've been governors, those who've been senators, that's awesome. I mean, you look at the number, Don, of the first debate. We hit 30 million people. I was walking around. I talked to people that were in London that said, I actually got up early to watch that debate. I talked to people that were in sports bars that said, we asked everyone if they could turn the channel from ESPN to Fox for that night. I hope that we have the same reaction.
I want to play this real quick. I have much more to get to, but I want to play this. This is Hillary Clinton today talking about the debate and Donald Trump.
I, obviously watch it and watch how each of the Republicans is out of touch and out of date in what they're saying, and keep track of that because clearly their frontrunner gets most of the attention, but there's not any real difference in where they would take the country on so many of the important issues.
What's your reaction?
I think it's kind of hysterical listening to Hillary Clinton lecture people about the direction they want to take the country and honesty. I mean, you look at the polls that came out today, she's getting crushed now, not only by both Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders, who's now leading her in Iowa and dead even with her in New Hampshire, but her trust factor has plummeted like a rock. And the biggest group that she's losing with is women. It's phenomenal. I mean, she has lost in the last month and a half something like 30 points with women. And that's the one group that she's really targeting hard. The more people learn about Hillary Clinton, the less they like her. When she left the Department of State, she had an approval rating in the mid-60s. It's now in the high 30s. Yeah. The more she talks, the better for us.
Okay. Let's move on now and talk about Jeb Bush. He has a new ad out in which he speaks Spanish.
Los hispanos contribuyen cada día más a nuestra cultura. Son parte integral del sueño americano. Por esos motivos y más, yo les invito a que celebren el mes de la herencia hispana porque todos somos americanos.
So Donald Trump has said Jeb Bush should speak English and not Spanish when campaigning. New poll numbers show that some of Trump's comments about Mexican immigrants may have hurt your party's cause with Hispanic voters. There it is up on the screen. 65% of Latinos say Trump hurts that. Are you worried about that long-term damage?
Well, obviously, as the primary we go through this primary, each candidate's got to decide their own tactics, how they're going to reach out to different groups. The one thing I'll say, whether it's Donald Trump or Jeb Bush, I think everyone in our party understands that the Hispanic population is it's a growing population. It's one that we need to do better in. It's one that Reince Priebus, my boss and the chairman of the party, has made tremendous efforts to reach out to put people in those communities, to build bridges with the Republican Party, and it is clearly in a very, very important voting bloc as we head into the general election next year.
Okay. Sean, Mark Cuban emailed CNBC today saying he would crush Hillary and Donald Trump. Would you welcome him into the race?
Well, I'm not going to upset Mark Cuban. I'm a big fan of Shark Tank, but I don't think that he's going to jump in the race. I don't think he's a Republican. I think I'm happy with the 16 that will be on the stage on Wednesday night.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Don.